Hey everybody, it's Alexis. I am back with a brand new video. Thank you for being here. As always, happy Monday. And today I have a client success story to share. I'm going to talk about her circumstances and how she shifted the reality and what she really did that helped make it happen. And I'm also going to give some tips and tricks, like I always do, about manifesting your reality, creating your relationship on purpose, creating yourself to be different. How do you do it? And also, how do you do that in the face of very daunting circumstances? Now, this client that I'm referencing had a very daunting outer 3D reality. So if that's you, or if it's been you before, we have all been there ourselves, and we have a lot of sympathy and compassion for it, right? If you're there yourself, then this will apply to you. If you go through a difficult time, this will also then apply to you later. All right, so let's get into it. Before I get started, the links for booking one-on-one coaching, the links for booking one-on-one hypnosis, the links to all of my pre-recorded audios and courses are in the box below. If you do not see a time on my online calendar that works for you, then please email us at sessions@createyourfuture.co. And if we don't have your information, we'll ask for your time zone, things like that, to get it sorted out. I'm here for you, here to help you. Let's get you booked, okay? So let's talk first about the client and her circumstances, what was happening outside of her and her reality. Now, I say this with the caveat always as a reminder, loves, and to everyone watching, and a reminder to myself, right? Circumstances don't matter. The circumstances outside of you do not have a hold on. They are not a determining factor on what you can create, what you can manifest, what you can design, what you can recreate for yourself. The big caveat, though, to this is that you need to change your concept of you, your concept of self, your self-concept, who you are, thinking you are, who you're being in your reality in order for things to shift and change. Now, I've said this in every video. I say it like a broken record because it is the biggest game changer, right? Neville talked a lot about this, about your concept of self. Who do you think you are? Who are you being? Okay, so I'm saying that. Right? This is not a video about rapid fire affirmations to change an SP, like you do a list of 10 thoughts, you think 10 thoughts, and then he changes. Absolutely not. Okay. If you can hear the conviction in my voice, I've had to say this, not as much recently because my videos tend to tackle it, but you guys, that's not the way to get long lasting change with anyone or anything. The way that you get long lasting change and you feel better, right? Because you are the most important person in your reality, how you feel, how you think, your level of contentment, happiness, security, safety is the thing that's the most important. It reigns supreme, okay? You need to have a different version of self in order to even stick to those 10 affirmations about a person for it to create into reality. You're the basis of all, okay? Getting off on a tangent. Okay, but let's talk about her circumstances just so we can see what was going on and see what she transformed. Okay, so when she came to coaching, she had been living with her boyfriend at the time for 4.5 years. Okay, and they had been recently, even though she was doing some conscious creation practices, she was looking at things differently. She had been doing some affirmations. She had watched some of my videos. She had done a hypnosis recording. She was still having a really, really difficult time. They were having the very difficult conversations about what to do about their relationship. And she was also bringing them up. Okay. So a lot of people that come to this work are working on this because of a person that wants that wants this. Okay. But they were kind of both in a conundrum because there had been a lack of all the things that both of them wanted for quite a while. And they also had 2 children together. Okay. And she also felt very, very helpless because she didn't have a solution given the location where they lived, didn't have a lot of support from her family. And actually at the same time, a lot of things with her biological family were also unraveling, coming apart. Things with her mother, there was some things that were really going on that were really heavy. Okay, so now she had decided that she wanted to stay in the relationship. She wanted to make it work, and that she was even putting to the side, which I was very proud of her to put aside having to get married, having to get engaged. That was actually what she had been working on manifesting, and that wasn't really getting to the root of the issue. Okay. She was waking up with a sense of apathy, sadness, depression. During the day, she felt a sense of anxiety. She had seen a psychiatrist. She was on medication. She said it's okay that I share all these things. It's always anonymous anyways, but it helps because this is a very real life story that I think a lot of people suffer from. Okay. She was really, really, really in a dire state about herself. She was losing weight. She was having digestive issues. The whole situation that she was living in with him was giving her such a nervous system disruption that it was causing her so much pain. And I was the only one that she was really, really opening up and talking about to it. Like I said, her family was very distant. She didn't have a lot of support from loved ones. Her girlfriends were going through their own things. Everyone seemed kind of occupied with their own situation. So I was the one that she would cry to, talk to, open up to about it, right? And that's what I'm here for. I am here to mentor you, hold your hand, hold you accountable, and also help you create the version of you that you want to be. Okay. That being said, you got to decide who you want to be. Now, she had kind of an inclination of who she wanted to be instead, but she had been suffering from feelings of rejection and abandonment and sadness that were created in the relationship. And I want to say too, at the same time, her SP wasn't telling her that it was over. He wasn't saying like, get out, but her level of sadness was so great that she didn't know what to do about it. Okay. So if this is you, my heart goes out to you. As my own journey of my own life have been through so many dark periods, which have given me the biggest lessons, but it doesn't mean that during it, it's the easiest or that you have all the answers or it's easy to see the light at the end of your tunnel. Okay. Now, what I want to say, if we fast forward 6 months later, they're working through issues. They're talking through things. She is feeling better. She is waking up happier. She's waking up with less of a sense of depression, anxiety, and worry, and she is feeling better. Okay. And remember, like I said, who you're being and who you're thinking, who you're feeling at the base of your relationship is what creates and what decides and what manages and orchestrates the whole thing. Right now, and over months of coaching, right, she began to tell me about her story like everybody does. It unravels. We open it up. We look at it. And it was like she had taken on this identity when she became a mom. And then she became more entrenched in motherhood where she really didn't matter. She would put her husband first. She put the kids first. And I want to say socially, right? When people do this is kind of what we're taught to do. Like I was saying to a client this week, there's that adage, right? That's like, it's better to give than it is to receive. Well, not necessarily. Okay. Not if you are negating your own happiness, your own sense of purpose in the world, your own conviction of self. Okay. She had even like stopped doing a bunch of hobbies and a bunch of things that she liked doing because she was just kind of managing getting through it. Okay. And I'm a mom. I have a young child, and anyone who has had young kids, like you understand that it could be so easy to give into the programming and the social programming to kind of like put yourself aside, do everything for them, et cetera, et cetera. But we know that that's not the answer. And actually that whole system of belief is what I really feel like is the cause for so much pain and suffering for the people I talk to individually, because they've tried it, it doesn't work, and they're suffering. Okay. So this is also a video for you. If you feel like you're in a situation or a circumstance with your family, with your person, with your kids, with your stuff where you don't matter. My reminder today is that you do. And I would remind her every time, you need to keep telling yourself and thinking and changing the inner dialogue that you matter and that you're important and your day is for you. Now you start thinking that, and the idea and the intention with those thoughts is not like, the intention was not some like otherworldly thing where she was like, I don't care about my kids. I don't care about the house. I just care about myself. Like some sort of like, I don't like the term narcissistic, but like, an egotistical, ego-driven viewpoint. No, it is to get the mind to understand that you are the basis of all. So your happiness, your conviction, your purpose, your sense of having that, right? And being able to say yes to what you want to do, no to what you don't want to do, creating that inner boundary is the focus of all. Because that was the other thing, right? She would like give in to doing things she didn't want to do. She would say yes to stuff and then not be happy there. She would talk to people about things she didn't want to talk about. She'd feel guilty after, so I really had her work on developing what I like to call an inner boundary and an inner conviction and an inner management of all these things. Okay. Now, what I did not have her do is talk to her baby daddy, the boyfriend, right? We didn't talk to him about it anymore. We decided that that wasn't working. She would, previously to working with me, she would bring up conversations about the symptoms, the Band-Aid, the like, it's like, thinking of an analogy. When you have a health issue, there's a symptom of it that might be from a greater issue. Like if you have digestive pain, you might get a symptom or something that happens, but the real issue is the digestive pain, right? So in her case, it was like the real deeper issues were not the surface level things. It wasn't the lack of connection with him or the this or the that. All the things that we can look at in our 3D that we're taught to look at is like, this is what a relationship is, right? Those really weren't the problem. What the problem was her lack of conviction about herself, her lack of self-importance, and her lack of feeling a purpose, excitement, a joy about being her and having that every day, okay? So once she began to work on that, guess what happened? It's kind of like a miraculous process. She had new hobbies. She was doing new things. She made new friends. She was losing weight. She was, losing weight, but regulating weight because she had gone through a period of the digestive issue thing. It's interesting that I keep on going back to a digestive analogy. And she had that kind of as a thing. Okay. So, yeah, it was really, really, really interesting and so cool for me to see, like I tell people on video, I'm like, and you guys listen over here. I am not here. If you watch my videos, if you've worked with me one-on-one, I am not the coach that's going to sugarcoat and say to you something to make you feel better. That is not my job. My job is to give you the love, the tough love sometimes, but to hold your hand and to hold you accountable and also celebrate your successes with you. So with her, I had said, like, do you realize like how different you look? Is anyone else telling you that you just look like a shift and a change, a glow and a vibrancy? I'm like, your whole energy has changed. Okay. She was like, oh my gosh, you know what? I mean, thanks for saying that. Like someone at the gym told me, and then, oh, you're right. Someone at the grocery store did say something to me, like a place she goes pretty often, but I see on video the change in clients when they really, really appropriately put into practice the new work on the concept of self, right? I remember years ago when I began this kind of coaching with people, through YouTube, Create Your Future Here. It's like everybody was so excited about this SP manifesting, like having a bunch of affirmations and changing somebody, right? But the thing is that I know at this point, I remember those days, but what I know at this point with conviction is what you have to do is change yourself as you change them. Now, the more that you change yourself, the more you naturally change them. Okay. It's actually the chasing, the wanting, the lack. This isn't happening. This isn't going on. All of that inner dialogue that gets people out of changing the person. All of us, haven't you guys like ever, not done this with purpose and someone's come back into your life that like out of the blue apologizes, says so sorry for all the things, or like a friend, something like that happens. That's always because of a shift and a change of our concept of self. Before you do this on purpose, you probably had shifts and changes because of career, because of getting a promotion or a lack thereof, right? Which can cause a de-escalation in the self-concept. But naturally, when we progress and we change and we evolve, then everybody picks up on it, okay? So I am going to get to her success story, but I really wanted to go into the circumstances because as much as they don't matter, they're a really interesting benchmark and viewpoint to look at where she is now and what is happening now and how she's experiencing healing and health and happiness in her home and in her relationship. I also want to add too that a big, something she had always suffered from was feeling suffocated, kind of like too much going on. And to add insult to injury, if you want to use that phrase, she lived in a really small place with the kids and the guy. Okay. So there wasn't a lot of breathing room. There wasn't a lot of time to get space. And excuse me, like a lot of clients, she always did her sessions with me in the car. She would drive somewhere. She began to drive and like overlook a pond. That was really sweet because I love seeing water. And she was not in the United States. So I'd always get to see these like really cool ponds and lakes and stuff. Anyways, so that was also a daunting thing. Okay. So I really had to create a specified plan with her to how do we appropriately manifest and recreate this whole thing. Okay. So now that I've said all that, let me get to the story. Okay. But I do really encourage you, like if you are wanting to, use this information for yourself and like you want to figure it out, you really got to decide who you want to be. If you haven't decided who you want to be, then there's no way for me to help create affirmations and focus of that. You got to know it, right? So we can uncover it together, right? But I would always give her homework. Like I'm always giving clients homework. Like I'm here to help and guide you, right? But I can't be the one that's deciding who you want to be. You got to know who you want to be. You got to know, like, if you want to be not living out of abandonment and rejection, you probably want to be safe, secure, and stable, right? But it helps if you kind of start thinking about who have I been? Who do I want to be? Who have I been? Who do I want to be? Okay. All right. It's really hard to tell anybody, to figure out what to tell someone to think if they don't really know, it's like, you got to kind of start thinking about this, marinating on it and say like, okay, I'm figuring it out, and if you need help figuring it out, I give clients homework on how to figure it out, so that we're not just sitting here like, well, this is who I might want to be. Like, no, you got to have a conviction about who you want to be instead, right? A good place to start is, self-love, loving self, being safe, being stable, being secure. Okay. All right, here we go. I always put these on. Just, they're not even like reading glasses, but I don't know. Maybe because it gets brighter when that's what I said before. It gets brighter sometimes when I go to my email. All right. Dear Alexis, thank you so much for all of your help over the past months. I am finally here writing in my success story, as you encouraged me to do, that one day when you put that super cute sticker on my notes. Do you remember that? I do. XOXOXO. Okay. That was kind of her joke, like XOXOXO. We'd always end the session with a heart. Okay, so she's writing in a bunch of stuff like about her circumstances, and some of it is actually would not keep it anonymous about her career and stuff. So I'm just going to jump to, and now I want to tell everybody about what I have manifested. Things with my guy are getting better and better, and I am seeing a vast improvement, and most of all, feeling a vast improvement in my own happiness, my sense of security, and my sense of safety within myself. I realize now that once I had my first kid and then my second kid, I had completely abandoned me and abandoned my sense of self, and then later also rejected the person I had become. Once I began to look at this and look in the mirror and see how I had created my own sense of misery, I was able to pick it apart, pull it apart, and through working with Alexis and her giving me specific affirmations and a specific plan to carry them through, I was therefore able to really tackle the deeper issue, which, as we all know at this point, it's us. My video and my success story are here to motivate you, to tell you that you can change your outer reality. You can absolutely have what you want with your person, but it takes being the you that is no longer abandoned, rejected, feeling so sad, feeling so bad, and waking up having a sense of apathy each and every day about yourself. This took me some time, not a lot of time to turn it around, but once Alexis gave me the tough love that I really needed, I was able to actually execute the affirmations, stay on my mental diet, period. She wrote, period. I also want to say that before I did coaching, I really didn't know. I knew what a mental diet was, and I thought that I was doing it appropriately, but it really turns out that I wasn't, you guys. I had been doing some affirmations here and looking at a list. At one point, I was doing the Parrot app, all the things that we always hear in all these videos, but I really was not following the appropriate guidance to change my thoughts, think my thoughts on purpose, and create new thoughts into existence. Once Alexis had me take her through my day, she said, okay, so you're not on the mental diet. Okay, so you're not thinking the appropriate thoughts. So and she asked me how often my thoughts were going to what I didn't want. And I said, well, like, once I don't do my affirmations, then that's where they're going. She's got this kind of like in a conversational format, which is kind of helpful and cute, right? And then I would tell her that, okay, so what do I do instead? And then she and I would role play, and she would give me an idea about how I would talk to myself and what my inner dialogue about myself needed to be. That in itself was the biggest game changer. She's written in a sentence in all caps, that in itself was the biggest game changer. All along, I had been trying to, at one point, manifest my kids to change, manifest for my boyfriend to change, and manifest for the relationship change, all not really knowing that the person that I had to change was me. Thank you, Alexis, for all of your help and all of your personalized one-on-one guidance. There's no way that I could have done what I did through just watching videos and just doing some of your courses. I tried that, and then I realized that I had to have the hand-holding, the tough love, and your one-on-one approach. Thank you so much, and see you soon. Love you to the moon and back. And then she put the emoji. Okay. So yeah, you guys, like, let's get out of this thing people have about, manifesting an SP and making it way more primary than manifesting the new version of self. Okay. And if you're waking up and you're going through a period of like apathy, sadness, not feeling very connected, feeling like things are very difficult, you got to work on you being different, feeling different, creating different, manifesting different. And like, think of it like this: you got one life to live. Okay. So, again, there is a light at the end of the tunnel. The darkness is not forever. Nothing is forever into perpetuity. Your reality is only energy. It is shifting and changing and conforming to who you're being constantly. So you got to think different, feel different, be different, depending on who you've been. Decide who you want to be, and then be that version. As you be that version, you create and change for the person to be the version that lines up with the version of you. Got it? Okay. I haven't used these in a couple weeks, but I think that these wands, my wands, they apply to this, right? So like, there's the two versions of you, right? There's the version of you who you've always been, that feels so familiar, that feels like, oh, life is kind of sad. I'm not getting what I want. I feel like a lot of things and most things right now are unfulfilling. I'm the unlucky one, yada, yada, yada. And then there's the you that is seeing wonderful experiences, creating and deciding like, no, my reality depends on me. So I'm changing my concept of me, and good things are happening to me. I am feeling a sense of natural fulfillment and existing in my reality differently. I'm thinking, feeling, and being different. Therefore, like good things are happening to me. I'm receiving good treatment. I'm having good days. Okay. Now to do this though, takes a lot of practice and takes a lot of talking to yourself, coaxing yourself, soothing yourself into thinking that, right? And if you're new to this, see it as a journey that you're beginning and an involvement and an adventure of self, not like a list of like a list of affirmations. It happens and I'm done. Absolutely not. That's a big thing that gets people super stuck, is like, okay, I've just got to do this affirmation list and then I'm done. Like, absolutely not. This is you being this, right? No matter what is going on for the rest of your evolvement, eternity, lifetime, whatever you want to call it. So it takes adherence to this, thinking this, taking actions from this, being this, deciding this over and over again is what gets you to the finish line of the dream. Okay. That's it, you guys. So let's really, really, really if you're going through a difficult time or your circumstances with your person seem daunting, right? I have complete sympathy and understanding. I'm giving you a big hug, like I do to clients virtually, but you can get through it by recreating yourself and therefore recreating them and recreating the relationship. It all comes down to you. Your reality stems from you. You are at the core and the center and the ground zero of all the things that you're experiencing. So start deciding that you love yourself, you like yourself, you're having a good time, everything is working out for you, and that you are getting through this and that you can do it. Even just the phrase once an hour, I can do it, I can do this, I'm getting through this, I'm creating my own light, I am the light, is really enough to tip things over to really begin to see change. Okay. All right. I love you guys so much. And I will see you in my next video. I intend and I affirm with conviction that this has helped you and create momentum, staying to it, persistence, and consistency at the start of the week. And like I always say, remind yourself of how fabulous, wonderful, and amazing you are, because you are, and you are whole and complete as you are right here. And I love you so much. I'll see you soon. Bye.